Coming out liberated me in a greater way than I could ever imagine. I was doing it because I wanted to be authentic. I wanted to stop feeling anxious. I wanted people to stop asking me questions. And I wanted to learn how to love myself and begin a process of healing. But what it led to, that I didn't know it was going to lead to, was it led to a greater understanding of the world and the universe, people, that we all have stories and that we all have a multitude of experiences living inside of us, and that pain and suffering are universal. And it doesn't matter what color you are, your sexual orientation, what background you come from, we are all bound by the same laws. Once I started to overcome my pain and turn into a greater expression of who I really am, turn into a greater expression of love, I was able to see that we are all fighting the same battle, and becoming authentic and being honest and sincere meant everything to me. Some of the beautiful things that have come out of accepting my sexuality and integrating it into the more whole aspects of who I am, or the wholer aspects of who I am, have been watching some people I love grow and evolve, watching people that used to be really homophobic and that used to be really irresponsible with the things that came out of their mouths, whether it was cracking jokes or just constantly spewing derogatory, terminology about people that are different than them. It felt good to watch people open their hearts and open their minds. And once they saw someone they loved was gay, then it changed their relationship with homosexuality. Whenever I have conversations with people, I never try to convince them, hey, I was born this way, or that, I think that something that shifts for us when we learn how to accept and love ourselves is we realize we're not here to teach people how to love us. We're here to love ourselves, as is everybody else. But it felt really good to just watch the people around me grow. And obviously, there were some painful experiences. The nature of some of my relationships changed. I lost some friends. I had some challenging experiences with family, and watching the things people write on their Facebook and Instagram and social media, and watching how easy it is for them to say such hurtful things. I really had to learn how to manage that emotionally first and express myself in a way that was healthy. And it was also important for me to learn how to see things neutrally without judgment, and see how people are kind of projecting their lack, their insecurities, their pain, or what they've been brainwashed to believe. When you start to see that, you don't take things as personally. But for a long time, I had to work through a lot of pain and a lot of anger. I think a lot of people ask me, like, why aren't you angry? You're not angry. You're not disrespectful. You don't walk around with a chip on your shoulder like these other gays. And I actually take a lot of offense to that, because everybody who has been marginalized has the right to be afflicted and to be angry and to be hurt, because they have been brutally attacked. And it's not okay. It's actually unacceptable. I just was able to do most of my healing away from people and surrounded by powerful souls that were able to protect me and uplift me while I was healing from persecution. But a lot of people are healing in front of everybody. So we're seeing the natural progression of pain express itself into the world. And for me, one of the greatest misperceptions is that God and religion, God and Christianity, God and Hinduism, you take any religion and put it in there. One of the greatest misperceptions is that God and religion are synonymous. They're not. God stands alone, and God stands with nothing that was created in the physical by man. And there is not one scripture, not one book, not one religion that is more sacred or more holy than even one human being. Because the light that lives in that human being is an expression of God itself. And there aren't an amount of finite principles, puritanical theology, or dogmatic thinking that can take the light of God out of a soul. Something that I've come to find, something that's a metric for measuring, how we're doing when we are meeting experiences in the world is, are we meeting the world with the virtues of the Spirit, which is the light of God? These virtues can only express by universal law specific attributes. That's kindness, compassion, empathy, and love. If we are expressing anything outside of those virtues, we are not in alignment with God, we are not in alignment with the universe, and we are not an expression of love. Affliction, greed, manipulation, gaslighting, vindictiveness, harsh, verbal vitriol, those are not of God. I think it's really important that if you want to know something about somebody, you ask the person that embodies that. If you want to know what it's like to be gay, ask someone that's gay. If you want to know what it's like to be Black in America or in the world, ask someone who's Black. We need to stop asking the pastor at the pulpit. If we want to understand each other, we need to go directly to the source. And we need to ask them with the virtues of the Spirit, with compassion, with empathy. And we need to listen to them before we formulate thought or let our regurgitated and recycled belief systems move into our psyche and formulate a thought. Listen to the person in front of you. Ask them and sincerely want to know. I would encourage anybody that is closeted to take a step back and to really go within and to close your eyes and silence the thoughts that you've inherited from a world that's made up its mind about you. And when you silence those thoughts, your heart begins to whisper to you, and you know the truth. And you remember something you've always known. And something on an energetic level shifts within inside you that brings a great amount of peace that can only be found in accepting yourself, which in turn turns into loving yourself and anchoring your voice, your heart, and soul into the world. The universe is always looking for balance. And the way we balance the world is by bringing our voice and our story into the world.
They say that God is dead. God isn't dead. Exclusion is dead. Conformity is dead. The God who promotes segregation is dead. The congregation that calls for excommunication is dead. That God is dead. Pain that is not felt becomes blinding. I forgive you.